Hey everyone, so far we've used several data types in C++ like integers, floats, booleans, strings, and floats and whatever. And by defining anything like them, they had their special functionality. For instance, like if you used to declare some kind of integer, it would have some kind of functionality like a method associated it. And all these worked associated to it. But the thing is that we are really restricted on just these data types. But there's something that's called object-oriented programming, in which you can create your own user-defined data types. So OOP languages allows programmers to create their own custom data types. It gives you the chance to create your own entity of the real world object. For instance, if we have something like a student, now we're not sure that we could put this as an integer or a string because students have so much characteristics associated to them. So for instance, if I say a student might have a name, a student might have a GPA, a student might have a year, and like which year he's going, he's a freshman, a junior, senior, or a sophomore or whatever. And a student might have a scholarship, like does he have qualified for scholarship or not, so it might have a scholarship. So these are called like methods, and attributes and methods combined together, these are basically forming some kind of whole world entity. So how do we define these kind of stuff? So fortunately, we have something very special in C++, and it's the fact that you can create your own data types. I know this is very exciting. So you could create your own basic data types. So what object-oriented programming gives us is it refers to a type of computer programming software design in which programmers define the data type of a data structure. So they are given control to define their own data types, their own operations, meaning functions. You could create your own methods to it that can be applied in the data structure. So likewise, what structs were in the beginning, what we discussed, that was basically an older version of what classes are known as. So previously we've been discussing about structs that were comparatively older, and they were introduced in the C language, and then they were modified, meaning gave a better touch to them, and classes were formed. And C++ is known for its object-oriented approach. So we open up our IDE, and now we're gonna create our own class. So these C++ class are basically some kind of container where you could enter so many data types you want. So we start out by over here typing the class keyword and giving it a name of anything you want. We've discussed you could give a student, you could give a class of a bulb, you could give a class of any kind of real world object. So any real world entity could be made into a class. So what we're gonna do over here is gonna make a class of song. So now after that, I'm gonna give curly braces open. You could see this semicolon at the end automatically inserted. So now I'm gonna put two strings inside. First will be the title of the song, and second will be the artist. So these are my two, these are called attributes. So basically a class is composed of class elements, and elements are two types. One are called attributes, and attributes could be any kind of data type, like strings, integers, floats, doubles, whatever. And the other element is called the methods, and those methods are the functionalities those classes can perform. So one functionality that we could make this is like we could make it so print out the title of the song or print out the artist's name in the terminal screen, which is very basic as we are just starting right now. We insert a keyword called public, and this is an access control, and there are two types. One is public and the other one is private. So these are basically used for making your data secured if you don't want to make it access out of the scope of the class, because generally when we're defining a class and creating it, so we basically want to use it throughout our whole program. So to keep things simple, we make it public. If you want private, that will not allow it to use it out of the scope. So and the scope is defined as like this. The class's scope is within these curly braces, and after the curly braces the scope of the class is finished. So over here is public, and by default all classes are private, so we're supposed to write public over here. That's the reason why we write public. So now we're going to create our method. So the method I'm going to create, and it's like a function, well, we've discussed. So a void means that there's no return type. New title, we're gonna just try to display the title of our song. So string, inside we're gonna put a parameter, an input. So I say tit for title, and then I'll say title is equal to tit. And after this I want to make it display, so I'm gonna create another function, and for being more specific we're supposed to call these as methods as related to OOP. So get underscore title, and inside this we're gonna write return and return, or okay, so return title. Now what we're gonna see is that we've created two methods. One is called the new title, which is just gonna associate whatever the input is to the title, which is defined already here. And then after that it's going to display it out. So how we're going to use it in our main function. So coming in our main, we could give a quick reminder how we use structs. It's basically similar to that. We're just going to call the song class, and then after that we're going to make an object to it. So we're making, basically this is like the blueprint of our class. So this is our blueprint of our object. And the real object will be created like this. So basically this is mp3.1, I'm just saying. So this is mp3.1, this is our first object we created using our class. So once we create this object, it is associated with all of these elements. It has a string and it reserved all its memory for all of these. So that was kind of neat. And now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna associate mp3-1 with a title. So basically I'll say mp3-1, and then I have to put a dot operator, and then I'll say dot title, and then we'll put a string because we know that title is string. So I'll make it as perfect, and then after that we need an artist. So mp3-1 and then dot artist. So I'll say artist, and this is Ed Sheeran. So now we created our title and artist, and now we want to use our method. So how are we gonna use our method? So the same thing is that we have to mp3-1 dot method's name is this new title. So this is the new title function. We're gonna display our title, which is perfect, on the screen. So inside it needs some kind of parameter. So it's a string type. So I know that the title we already created over here, which is perfect. So it is mp3-1 dot title. So we're gonna write mp3-1 dot title. So after this we put a semicolon at the end, and now we're gonna try to use our, this was just basically void, so it's just gonna associate with the title. Now we're gonna try to get it using the get underscore title function. So I'm gonna go in the next line and mp3-1 dot get title, and inside this get title I'm gonna put the thing I need, which is nothing right now. In the argument is nothing because there's no argument for this, and once I put a semicolon at the end of this, you're gonna see that I'm gonna save this code 45 and execute, compile, and run. So there are a couple of errors over here. Okay, so we've discussed that by default the class is not public, it's private. So we have to explicitly make it public. So by using this access control, I paste it on top of this so that everything of this is public. Now we could use it out of the scope of the class, the title, and now we're gonna save it and we're gonna try to run this code now. So compile and run, and we could see that it ran, but nothing appeared on the screen. What is the reason? The reason is that I didn't console output the value. So as I inserted my console output and I executed my code, you're gonna see the song title perfect appearing on the terminal screen, and that was perfect. So now what we want to do is we want to show Ed Sheeran name too. So what we're gonna basically do is do the same thing, but we're gonna create two more functions over here. So we're gonna create one called void new artist and string art. We'll say art1, and then we'll say artist is equal to whatever the method attribute was associated in the beginning, and art1. And now we're gonna create our other one, which is string get underscore artist, and there's no parameters inside for this, and we're just returning the name of the artist. Okay, so now we're gonna use the same thing. So over here we're gonna copy this code. So to make it things better, we just have to change over here new title to new artist, and we're gonna change this to new artist, and over here we're gonna change this to get artist. So console output. Okay, one thing over here is that I need a \n because I want the font to make it more presentable. Execute, compile, and run. Okay, now there's get artist class no member named get underscore artist. So the name of the attribute was get two underscores. Well, I don't know where that come from. Okay, now execute, compile, and run, and hopefully we'll see a perfect Ed Sheeran. That was amazing. We used classes to make our own, and now things are so simple is that you could create as many songs as you want and just like store them in a database where you could like access them and create like a playlist, you know, like an iPod playlist for your iPhone. And this is really neat. So you guys might be wondering if there is a way to give data to the object what we create from a class right after creating it. So luckily there is. We don't have to write all this blob of code. For that we use a constructor. So a constructor is that kind of mechanism where you apply all your constructions, what you want to add, your new functions, what you want to add, and basically it will construct all those functions without you worrying too much about it. So this is a constructor what I basically made before this video, and I'm gonna paste this over here. So I'm gonna go in my top where we put our class, and we're just gonna paste this constructor right here. And the syntax of a constructor is the name of the class. Inside there's two parentheses, and it depends on your argument. So what are you gonna give? Basically a new title, a string, and a new artist, because I wanted to show a new title and I wanted to show a new artist. So the artist name and a new title. So these two things what we were doing before, we now don't even have to write any of this. So not this and not even this one. So those are no more, and just these two. And the reason why we only need these two is that we're already assigning them to our titles and artists, and then after that we just need to return them. So how do I make this code a little more simpler? So the thing is that we created, let's just delete all of this, and now we're gonna do an mp3-1. So we created our first. Okay, so after creating the constructor, we use this member initialization list to basically apply what we wanted. So we had two strings, and it matters the most of the order what you apply to it. So our first thing was the title, and the second thing was the artist for our constructor, which was over here. So basically I'm gonna put a title over here. So we're gonna put perfect, and then over here we're gonna put the name artist, an artist name Ed Sheeran. And now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna just print it out. So we're gonna do mp3 dash, it's our object 1, and we're gonna do dot get underscore artist and get underscore, and now we're gonna do this one and the other one, mp3 dash 1 dot get, and we're gonna get title. So we're gonna run this code, and you could see that there's nothing because we didn't console output this. And once we console output this, we'll put a \n to make it the font a little more pretty. \n. Now we execute, compile, and run. And there you go, Ed Sheeran, perfect. So hope you like this construction. Now what we could do, basically what made it so easy is that we could now create another mp3-2 and whatever you want. Just put your name, the name of the song and the artist name, and just print it out. So we're just accessing so many things in a really simple, easy way. We just created an awesome constructor for making our task much easier. So we could, like, for instance, I could put some kind of song like "Let It Rain Over Me," and put Pitbull, and we'll console this out and just paste it right here, and mp3 we'll take 2 over here too, because we already created that, and that was it. Oh, we just put one \n over here, escape sequence, to make it more tidy. Compile and run. Here you go, the second song, Pitbull, "Let It Rain Over Me." And you could change up the positions as well. So one more thing I wanted to discuss about constructors is that by creating a lot of objects, you're increasing the risk of getting memory leaks, and that is very harmful for your PC. So for that case, we have another thing called a destructor to destroy the constructions after the program terminates. So the syntax for a destructor is as follows. So basically, this is my comment over here, and you can see that the constructor is on top and the destructor is on the bottom. So there's this new sign that is called a tilde. So you have to insert your tildes over here, and then after that write your destructor name, whatever the class was, and then parentheses and all the things necessary for it. And now I'm going to change a little bit of this structure to it, because I don't want this end line, and I just put this \n in the beginning so that it looks a little more presentable. And you don't basically have to call a destructor. It is called automatically for you. After, when the object is destroyed, you're gonna see some kind of message appearing when it's destroyed. So what we're basically gonna see on the output screen is that first you're gonna see goodbye, the first thing that will be destroyed, and then after that goodbye, the second title song which will be destroyed. So I'm gonna compile and run, and let's see. So I basically didn't call any destructor. So Ed Sheeran, Pitbull, my first construction, Pitbull, and "Let It Rain Over Me," this was second, and then after that goodbye, "Let It Rain Over Me," that was destroyed. Okay, then after that goodbye, perfect. So both objects are destroyed when the program terminated. That was it with this video. Hope you enjoyed understanding the concepts and major concepts of object-oriented programming. I know this is not the complete, and definitely this was just for beginners, and I hope you could tune in for more videos, and we'll try to give you more videos. Okay, so see you around.